Oh jeez, what is going on? What?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And welcome back to day 2 of Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3 2015. We are here this morning to take a look at a brand new RPG that blends elements of both the Fire Emblem series and Shin Megami Tensei.
Who is it?
And we
Villager
have
does.
A few people up here to help me show this off. We've got Kindra to my left.
I got blown up by a blast
Rich.
box.
Hey. We've got Ryan here and Mr. Takata, a very special guest who's joining us from Atlas today. So I think before we get into some gameplay, we're going to take a look at a video, and if we could get that going, that would be awesome.
Okay, video. Let's see what it is. Hey, this looks a lot like the trailer from last E3 of this game, or last time that they showed this game. Yep, the music for this game is really starting to grow on me, just based on what I've heard so far. Okay. I'm just gonna guess probably just cultural differences on why that person was running around in their bikini in the middle of the street. It's probably just something I'll chalk up to cultural differences. So it's Fe. I know that's short for Fire Emblem.
Okay. Wow. So that was an awesome look at the characters in the world of Gen-A Ibunroku Sharp FE. And without further ado, I think Rich is going to take us into the game.
Yep. So we've been talking about this game like sort of a mashup of the Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem series. But I think it's a little bit more accurate to look at this as a brand new series, an entirely separate experience. I'm going to start us off with a bit of save data that is set in, well, if you know your way around Tokyo, you're probably going to recognize where we are right now. We're at a pretty famous intersection here in Shibuya, and I love how detailed this is and how like really real and how grounded this all feels. The amount of
seems like they haven't really balanced the audio properly yet.
Visuals in here, like really sets the scene for me. I know that you've spent a lot of time in
Right, I lived near Tokyo, and it's just amazing to see how realistically, not just the intersection, but like those streets you can see in the distance are just like I remember them, which is really crazy.
Yeah, I feel like anybody who's been to Japan has probably been there and will recognize this in the game, which is really cool.
I'm going to take a few minutes to explore around here just so I can show off some of the scenes before we get into some story segments and then a little bit of combat and some stuff like that. While I'm walking around, I was wondering if Mr. Takata would like to talk a little bit about his involvement in the Shin Megami series and on this title.
ですね、つい最近アトラスからデビルサバイバーレコードブレイカーっていうのが出たと思うんですが、そのデビルサバイバーシリーズのディレクターをやってます。
So I served as the director for the Devil Survivor series from Atlas, the most recent of which was Devil Survivor Record Breaker.
Now, I talked a little bit about how realistic the setting is, like how grounded in reality this game feels. That's one of the things that really stands out to me about this title in particular.
Is that why everyone else is
the
a
hook of the
cardboard cutout?
storyline, we'll talk about this a little bit more, is that you're set within Tokyo, a very modern-day setting, and you start experiencing these incursions from another world called the Idolosphere. These beings called mirages are being drawn to our world and invading us. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes too. This is a JRPG, although I don't know, I feel like it might be a little bit more appropriate to call it a J-pop RPG because of like
J-pop
how heavy
RPG.
the role of music is in this game.
Yeah, we're going to see that coming up.
We'll talk about that a little bit. I want to walk into the convenience store really quickly, though.
Yes.
The character above the mart there, that Shin Megami fans may recognize him as Hiho or Jack Frost.
Jack
so that's pretty
Frost.
cool because they add in all these little details like that.
I like those little nods to the series franchise as well. I talked a bit about some of the, like just touched on the idea of pop music and its importance to this series. Mr. Takata was telling us the other day a little bit about the way in which Shibuya changes through the course of the game and the role that music has in that. I was wondering if he could expand on that now that we're in the convenience store and I'll be, shopping for some snacks. He can tell us a bit about the music and a little bit about the world.
Can you make me up some candy?
Find some candies, nigiri.
Yeah, I need some candy.
はい、そうですね。日本の街並みだと街頭にポスターが貼ってあったり、例えばこれコンビニって言うんですけど、コンビニで音楽が流れたりするんですけども、そういうところとか実際に例えばヒロインの翼がデビューすると歌が流れたり、ポスターが変わったりみたいなことがあって、かなり街並みがリアルに再現されている感じになってます。
So actually, the way that the city looks changes as you go through the game depending on what the characters have done. So for example, if the heroine of the story has made her debut, then her poster for her debut single will be up in the city and her song will be showing or playing in the convenience store, things like that. So that's how the game world will change as you progress through the story.
I'll show off some of those posters in a second too, but I love the vibrancy of the world because of this. It feels like it's constantly changing. I also wanted to go back to the shopkeeper here really quickly.
Yeah, she'll definitely look recognizable to Fire Emblem fans as Anna. So the game kind of mixes in characters from Fire Emblem and from Shin Megami, and I think that's a really cool addition to the game.
One thing I like about this is we're going to see the actual Fire Emblem characters in a few minutes. When you see Anna here as a shopkeeper, it's not actually Anna, but it's a really subtle homage to the Fire Emblem series. And there are a number of other shopkeepers.
Please tell me that's someone's arm.
As well, and a number of other characters.
Okay, it is.
The Fire Emblem characters themselves, though, are going to be an entirely separate experience that we're going to talk about in just a minute. But I love the way in which we're seeing some of these elements already in the demo start kind of brushing the world with some Fire Emblem features.
I was getting so comfortable hanging out in the Hiho Mart there that it's kind of sad to leave, but I know we've got to go see other things.
The Hiha Mart with Hiho.
Hey, we're not going to go for the, decide on what the official pronunciation is here, but
take a look around, some posters, get a look at the real world. Now, the reason I'm here, though, I'm not just kind of exploring Shibuya. I'm here to catch a concert being performed over in the square. I'm going to head over that way now. So I'm playing here as a character named Itsuki, who is meeting up with his friend Tsubasa. You can see her over in the corner. She has been trying to get me to come see this pop singer named Kirya for a while now, and so I'm finally here to see the show. Once I start talking to her, we're going to jump into one of the songs and just give it a listen, since this is going to be one of our first opportunities to see one of these pop songs performed within the game. Mr. Takata, if you feel like talking a little bit about the creation of the songs and some of the animation that we're going to be seeing, that'll help to contextualize some of this for the audience.
このゲームに登場する曲についてのなんかその作曲についてもしコメントがあったらもう自由に、コメントしていただければ。
そうですね。作曲はかなり有名なアーティストをやられてる方々にお願いしてます。なので普通のなんでしょうね、アニメの曲とは違ってかなり本物っぽい。
Is that supposed to be her stage outfit? Because it kind of looks like she's just in her underwear. Again, I'll probably just chalk that up to cultural differences.
いただいたのを取り込んでゲームで再現してます。またもう一つ、この歌なんですけれども、歌を歌ってる方と、普段のキャラクターのボイスをやっていただいている声優さんは同じなんですよ。なのですごくこだわって歌の上手で演技も上手な人を
Did she just get a one-up?
So actually, all the songs that you hear in this game are being handled, written, produced by famous Japanese songwriters who are in charge of producing famous, well-known Japanese artists. And so these aren't the types of songs that you normally see in anime. Also, the dances as well were choreographed by famous dance choreographers. And one of the things that we faced that was a bit of a challenge for us was the fact that all of the voice actors and actresses who appear in this game, who voice characters who have to sing, those voice actors and actresses have to sing their own songs. So we had to find people who were able to not only be good actors and actresses, but sing as well.
Jeez,
That sounds challenging.
yeah, that must have been hard.
Real localization challenge, I think, as well. So she really dug the show, and this is going to touch.
Excited.
Really excited. This is going to touch on one of the key elements of the game world here. When you see a when you see a creator like this, it's really inspiring to her, and it's kind of rekindled her own desire to be a pop singer. And I mentioned the idolosphere earlier, and I mentioned the mirages. These mirages are these otherworldly beings that are drawn to people's creative energy. It's called performa in the game. People who have a really strong performa draw these mirages to them, and the mirages come and they want to drain the performa out of people. But seeing Kiria's performance awakens Tsubasa's performa within her.
Performa?
She's really
What?
driven now. She wants to become a pop singer, and she's looking for a little encouragement from Itsuki, her friend.
And I love that idea that, everybody has within them some amount, more or less of a creative spirit, and that becomes kind of this gameplay element in a really cool way that we'll see in some of the scenes coming up here.
And I love her animations and her determination and enthusiasm is really great.
Yeah.
And so she's asking me for a little encouragement, and I can egg her on, or I can tell her, no, you don't have a chance. Don't even try.
How are you going to play it?
You're going to be nice, right?
I'm going to be nice.
Yeah, be nice.
Okay.
For purposes of this demo, I'll play against character, and I'll be nice.
Play against
She's
character?
really enthused about it. And now you're going to see
So he's normally a
something
jerk
that the real
in
world
character?
around her can't see, but it's her performa kind of being awakened within her. And this is going to be a kind of a triggering moment for the storyline as well.
I wonder if we have very good performa. What are you thinking?
I would imagine you probably have the most perform out
Oh,
of the
I
three
don't
of us
know about
at least,
well, thank you.
Day
you're
two
super
of-
creative, so.
Day 2 of E3, I feel like my performance is still pretty high.
Yeah, definitely. Still got that
Wait, what just
address.
happened?
So she can see this happening, and you, Itsuki, can see this happening to her, but everyone around her can't see it. It's
Right.
just you and your group of friends who all have the same ability within you. And also this character, who's
Maiko, I believe. She's kind of like, we don't know a lot about her at this point, but she's kind of a support, someone who's supporting Tsubasa.
and she's explaining a lot of what we just discussed about the performa.
And right behind Tsubasa is her buddy Toma with the red hair.
But now that we've had this moment, this big experience of the performa being awakened within Tsubasa, the idolosphere is starting its incursion, and you're seeing Shibuya being basically invaded by these otherworldly beings.
Yeah, I wonder if Mr. Takato has any comments or thoughts about just the scene that's going to be coming up here, as we're going to see that first incursion on the world. If
今のシーンについてのコメントはありますか？初めてイドラスフィアから攻撃してくるミラージュたちについてコメントありますでしょうか？
Whoa.
街並みは
It's like it's draining them.
日常をゲームとして味わってもらうんですけれどもごめんなさいなんて言えばいいのかなこう日常と非日常を味わうためにああいうふうに敵が攻めていくんですが彼らは敵が見えないんですね
That's as close as I
な
can
の
get
で
it.
剣に切ってるのは主人公たちだけなのでこうなんて言えばいいのかな
Just moving the microphone a little closer.
What we're seeing right here, this game deals with the balance between what's common, what's the everyday, which is what deals with what our main characters are dealing with, and what is extraordinary, which is what you're seeing right here. And so this game is based around this idea that people, like everyday kids, essentially are dealing with incursions from the other world.
What?
What's happening around us at this point is the regular people, they're starting to have their performance drained, and they're having their, you could see them slumping during that scene, and their color is being drained out of them, and they're being filled with like a hopelessness and a feeling that they can't go on, that the weight of the real world is pressing down on them. And that's what happens when their creative energy is taken from them.
So this is actually Kyria, right?
Transformed, yeah. She has a
That's right.
super awesome gothy claw mic
We really
stand.
need to talk about that microphone.
We do.
So she's transformed into another state, but she's a pop singer, and so when she transforms into this other state as a warrior, she still has this magic staff, but it's like a microphone with like the claw hand.
But why an
Just
eye
have people
patch?
with it or something.
I love this aspect of the game. I love seeing all of the real world elements with their idolosphere iterations. So right now, this is your first glimpse of one of the mirages. But what's weird about this specific scene is that Tsubasa recognizes the girl that we're looking at right here. She's like the spitting image of her missing sister. This is a story element that we're not going to go too deep into right now. I don't want to spoil it much about the
just
story.
been, introduced here. She's being called like Mysterious Lady. So,
but whatever that recognition has done, it's driving her away, and she retreats into the 106 building, which is going to be the dungeon that we're going to showcase right now.
I loved her character design, her outfit, and like the red eyes with the swirling triangles around her head. It's really awesome.
The swirling halo is really cool.
so you've got control back now.
And
Is that your default speed?
You aren't feeling so well
They're
after.
not
Oh, okay.
You can see
colored
they're all
anymore.
drained of color, and it just it's become a bleak place now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the game is so colorful otherwise, and you saw before how all the people in the crowd were those colorful outlines, and it's really cool that now that this incursion has happened, everybody, like you said, is drained of that color. It's like, I like that. That symbolism is pretty deep, man.
I love too that the muted people, they're muted, but they're all different colors. It's a really interesting design choice and really colorful game.
So really quickly, the building that we just entered is like another major landmark in that area of Tokyo. And you probably saw this tall building that said 106. It's actually the 109 building in real Tokyo.
Then why
it's
put the
sort of
number?
a fashion center, and now we're going inside it. And one thing that's really cool is we'll see that in this altered version of that building, you're still going to see the traces of the fashion that exists in the real world version of it.
And don't worry, we're not ignoring the giant maid costume. We're going to get to that.
Yeah, I was
But
just
first we're going to
wondering.
get a quick introduction to some of the Fire Emblem characters within this world. So the Fire Emblem characters, when they show up here, they're not the Fire Emblem characters that we know. They are from the idolosphere, and they have no memory of who they are. But not everybody in the idolosphere is sinister or evil. But you can see, like, this is Chrom, but he's got such a different cast to him. He's like a dark, kind of, like,
He looks amazing.
Yeah, I can kind of see some resemblances to Chrom in that guy.
I'm really excited too to see potential cosplays coming out of this because I feel like there's so many different choices, and I know people are gonna jump on
The costume design in this game is amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
So we've now had the Fire Emblem
You heard it here
characters.
first, folks.
On
They're
our
encouraging
side
you
at
to
this point,
cosplay as them,
because
as
we've
their
given them our
characters.
performa, and that has kind of awakened within their desire to help us. And you can see that manifesting. I now have a sword.
What? Where did he get the sword from?
That's actually Chrom's rapier that he usually starts out with in a lot of Fire Emblem games.
And you can see I'm just going to walk around the dungeon for a little bit. I can see out on the field there's a mirage off in the distance. he's gonna notice me and he's gonna charge me.
Are those
So
dark
thanks to
tiles?
Crom's help, I might be
Okay,
able to
they're
stun
just
in
dark
and stop him
tiles
from-
on the
Oh,
floor.
he's coming, he's
man.
coming, he's coming.
What?
I'm gonna hit a menu button. And right choice.
I thought that was the
There's a
entrance
panic
to the
button. I
panel.
didn't get the sword out in time because
Right.
of my panic. We'll
So
do
you
that in a
can-
second.
You can slash them though, which we'll see.
So we're
try
going
to do
cold
later.
into this battle now, and we're going to show off a little bit of the way in which the battle system operates.
Why'd you cut
What I
away?
love about what's happening here on